You can introduce me. This is your take.
Put it on my YouTube. Because we both put it on each other, then we could just introduce ourselves.
Next time. First time.
I'll introduce you.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, I'm gonna shut. Alright, what's up, guys? You know who I am. This is our esteemed guest. He's a veteran, Mr. Donald, my neighbor. And I just wanted to make a little bit less personal video, you know, have some more perspective. And we were talking about what a woman brings to the table. And I would just like to hear your opinion about that first.
Being from the old school and the new school, let's talk about the old school first. Now, old school, we was taught what you did to get that woman, you gotta do to keep that woman. That means if that woman did not have a job and you did all this for her, go get her nails done, go get her hair done, do all these fabulous things to get her, knowing she didn't have a job, then you gotta do what you did to get her, to keep her. On the other hand, a relationship is not 50-50. A relationship.
Talk to.
A relationship is 100. Because if you go in there and put 50% in there, and she put 50% in there, where's that other 50% going? Make you want to think.
Talk to, make you want to think.
Make you want to think. And that goes with the men and women, that men, what that woman bringing to that table, what she got? No, she don't have a job. But if that woman washing your clothes, keeping your house clean, cooking you a meal, and don't expect a woman to cook every day. Don't expect a woman to cook every day. She gotta have some me time. The same, y'all gotta have some quality time. Not only in the bedroom.
Take your girl out.
You know? Maybe you ain't got the money to take her to a fancy restaurant or something. But in the olden days, cheese and crackers in the park.
Picnic time. I feel that.
Some wine.
It's Rome right there.
It ain't all about the finance.
Yeah.
It's about the romance.
Alright, let me slow you down for you, you know what I'm saying, break the internet, you know what I mean? But yeah, you see what my man said. What you do to get her, you gotta keep her. I feel you on that, man. I feel you on that. So as far as so you're saying that your expectations of a woman as far as what she should bring is just essentially you're saying that she doesn't have to bring anything monetarily, just her helping out in the house and is enough as like is that bare minimum, or is that
Well,
because there
when
are
you
some women
look-
that don't like to clean and don't like to cook and stuff.
when you look at a relationship, because that's what you have. A man and a woman sharing life together is a relationship.
Yeah, and for the people who are thinking, what are we talking about? We're talking about as far as heterosexual, normal relationships that, the male is going to impregnate the female and they're going to have a child that carries on their bloodline. So we're talking in the traditional sense of a relationship, what the woman should bring as far as like a man and a woman, how, we're not necessarily talking about all relationships of all, like we're just speak strictly from what we've experienced. So I just wanted to clarify that because I know it's always a question, and people feel offended if you don't include them. So if you specifically exclude them, they don't feel as bad because they were included. So so you said a relationship is what we're in, man and a female, and I had to just pause you right there because
Well, it's not necessarily a male and a female because today's society, we have the same-sex marriage.
Right.
A relationship is a relationship between two individuals sharing the same concept together.
Okay, well, if I'm not able to speak on that perspective, because I would just hope that, if you were dating someone in the same,
I do not exclude nobody. I do not
I'm just
discriminate in my talking and in my teaching. But me personally, I have nothing against.
Yeah, we're not saying we have anything against them. I just feel like this conversation is better for a traditional sense because
Yes, for a man and a woman.
The woman is going to inevitably become pregnant, and she's still gonna have to like live their lives. Mm-hmm. She's gonna be more vulnerable. So the man comes in, and that's my whole take on it. But I'm gonna save that for later. But that's why I feel like we should talk more in the traditional sense, because if we try to include them, and it's kind of just like we don't have any experience in that personally. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if you do, 100%, but I don't question if you're heterosexual or not, but all I'm saying is I feel like this conversation and know it's not good to exclude people, but I just feel like if we make a video about that, we can make a whole nother video.
Okay.
That could be a whole nother video. But this video could specifically be about the heterosexual relationship between a male and a woman, and what does that woman have to bring to the table, if she has to bring anything at all to the table.
My answer is still going to be the same. What did you do to get that woman?
So,
you just didn't overnight move that woman into your house,
right.
or buy that woman a new house.
Right. So if we flip it, and let's just say that she initiates contact with the guy, she's like, "Look, I'll take care of you. I just want to be in a relationship with you." Do you feel like the roles would change? Would you feel like, because she essentially is the one who got you, not necessarily what you did to get her, you essentially didn't do anything. She did something to get you. That sometimes is the case. Some girls just like guys that are in less of a position than they are, so that way they can have sort of like some girls are just into that. They just want to be doing better. Some girls are attracted to men that are not doing as well as they are. They like being the more financially dominant person in the relationship.
You talking about the alpha male.
But some girls are like that too. Like
There are female alpha males.
Yeah,
genes.
It's crazy.
But then you gotta look, because I always, ever since I was young, believed in women's lib. And if she has the tools to be the president of the United States, then she should be the president of the United States.
So, in that situation, essentially, the man would, what does the man have to bring anything to the table now? Is he obligated to bring anything to the table?
The same as the female. She knew.
Right. So essentially, he doesn't. Is not obligated to. Or
all she said is, "I'm gonna take care of you if you take care of me."
Right. Let's just go forward together. So if I'm predicted to be the president, let's just walk that path together. Instead of you pulling me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if the roles were reversed and I would, or the male had the potential to be the president, he'd just grab her hand and they would walk together forward. And she wouldn't be trying to tug him any other way. Okay.
100.
That's why I wanted to get a less personal, less me just talking by myself video, because I didn't think of it that way. Like, I didn't think of the complexities of which gender would have more responsibility. And essentially, like you said, it's all about how you framed your life with this woman to her. Like, if the male was the dominant one, and he's like, "Look, I'm gonna take care of you. You ain't gotta do nothing." And he puts you up, and then y'all get married, and he's just like, "All right, look, you gotta work." That's kind of just like, it's like, well, you just told me, like you said. So it's kind of like you're looking like you're going back on your word, essentially.
No. In that case, if a man or a female, and we know we hit hard times, in today's society, it do takes two incomes to survive. Not to live, to survive.
Well, I mean, if you look at the majority of people, then yeah, but essentially there are people who can, everyone can get into a relationship, even if you're poor or if you have a lot of money.
But if he is still well off and he asked his woman to get a job, I'll look at it. Wait a minute.
I didn't have a job when you got with me. Why you trying to change who I am?
What's that?
That's a big thing in relationships too. You're not gonna get into a relationship and change a person. You can,
Well, true.
Like if you.
I believe
over time they can have different opinions. Yes, that's totally possible. You don't have the same opinion your whole life, but when you get with a person, if you think you're gonna change them and not be with them for 30 years before that happens, you're out of your mind. You're not gonna change that person.
The first thing, agreement in that typical situation, the first thing you must do is to agree to disagree.
That's a powerful tool. That is
you
powerful.
gotta agree to disagree, because you're not gonna see eye to eye on every situation.
Right. And that goes back into the 100 thing. Whereas my thought process on the whole situation is not like that. But when you say it, you make it make so much sense, and it's like, yes, actually it is 100, because there's gonna come a time when, even though I'm supposed to be this huge wall that protects everything from evil, there's going to be a time when someone creeps over the wall, or a little bird chirps on the wall and then flies to the other side. You can't stop everything. So the 100% female would be able to give me a little boost up, keep me up a little bit. Like, hey, look, you're faltering right now. And identify that. That takes sacrifice. That takes what's the term? It's like that takes responsibility. Like identifying that your partner is doing something bad and being able to present it to them in a way that it's not. Women, when you're talking to your man and you want to identify their problems, do not insult their manhood. That's a number one no-no. Like, hey, that's ultimately like the worst case scenarios when you sort of say, hey, look, you're acting like a child right now. You know what I mean? Don't try to punk him down in front of everyone and stuff. That's like the worst way to get your point across for a man. But being able to present your counter argument without insulting them or becoming violent, we all have to work on that. Like you said, agree to disagree. That is very, 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 very powerful. And do it without raising your voice, becoming violent, or using calling them bad names.
I have a sister at an old church of mine. Whenever she get upset and she want to tell somebody off, she'll cool off and then she'll back up and say, brother, I'm coming to you in love. I'm speaking in love. And then she'll say what she has to say. And she'll say, I love you, and give you a hug.
Right.
See, that's one of the main things wrong with America today. We don't have, they say we say we love, but we don't show the compassion of love. Because love is an action word.
Would you say that's more, when you say that's what's wrong in America, I feel like America has so many different parts where it's like some other parts of America love more than other parts. Like you see some families where the house will be small, but it'll have grandparents, parents, kids and stuff. And then some families where it'll be a big house and it's just one or two people in it.
Well, when you speaking as a group, a collective group, you speaking as a whole.
Okay.
You're not singling out one population. We're talking about a whole.
Okay, so America as a whole. Okay.
As a whole.
So our just mindset is, and I agree with that point. I agree with that point.
It's not just, yes, and I'm going to catch a heat round for this. Yes, the Latinos show more love than most races I don't seen so far.
Yeah, they do show a lot of love to each other. I've noticed that in my short time being around.
And my hat is off to them.
Exactly. It's a wonderful thing. I would never want you to dislike your own kind, especially. You know what I mean? It's like, that's your brother, that's your cousin. Why would you be at odds with them? You know what I mean? Those if you can't find peace with your own mama and daddy, I know you ain't gonna find peace with me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate that. I respect that in their culture, but like personally, in our culture, it's you're kind of like, you turn 18, you're gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might be gone a little bit before that if you messing around.
Yeah, but it is what it is.
Right. So I feel what you're saying. It's not enough love, and all that sort of ties into just the system as a whole. Like the whole system is built on competition. You want to have, you got Burger King and McDonald's. You got Popeyes and churches. You know what I mean? It's not, everyone wants to make the better thing, and some people morally they'll do different things to achieve that goal than others. Mm-hmm. So it just breeds, terrible people just trying to get over on people. It like I said, it just essentially just boils down to that, and that dog eat dog competition type world brings a lot of problems, and so that's it's kind of like how we're back to here now. It's like we're essentially living a time where a woman could come and say essentially what you said. I didn't have all this stuff before you got me. Now I'm with you, and I'm supposed to do more than what I had, No, just like you said, what you did to get her, don't do to keep her, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But we live in a time frame now where people are thrown back when a woman says, I don't have to bring anything to the table. And that's my whole thing. I'm with those women because if my woman that I told, even if we had an agreement that she still had to work, because she was still working she was working when I got with her. And so even if we agreed to where we would pay, she would get a bill, I would get a bill type of thing, you know what I mean? Even if we had that agreement, if the time came and she were to have my child, I would expect less of her. And I would, if she was literally super big, ankle swollen, she's like, it hurts when she gets up, but when we go to the doctor, the baby's healthy, it's growing, it's getting big. I would just want her to relax and chill out. And at that moment, she's not bringing anything to the table. So that's demanding that your woman bring something to the table is essentially you telling them that if there ever comes a time when they're not able to provide, then you won't want to have nothing to do with them. So that's like me taking on a partner. I tell her she's good, take care of her. She has our kid or whatever. Kid grows up, has a wonderful life, and she's walking inside carrying groceries, and she breaks her leg and she can't walk up. And she needs someone to push her around. She's like,
that's your job. For
no,
better
you
and
can't.
for worse.
You're not bringing anything to the table right now. You're my leg, so I just leave you. That's so messed up.
But see, that's where they mess up at. Now let's look at it. Since you want to go, this man wants this woman to get a job.
Yeah, that's how guys are thinking.
And right now, my opinion, yes, if you taking care of that woman and doing all of this for that woman, and y'all head on hard times,
yeah,
you ain't gonna have to ask that woman to go get a job.
Back to the 100 thing.
That's on 100. Wait a minute.
That's what I said. That's actually perfect. I didn't see it that way until
this man done took care of me.
His wall is falling a little bit
You
now,
know,
so now you gotta pick him up a little bit more.
I'm his helpmate.
Right. You don't have to lead. Just help me.
You know, you don't have to go out there and get a corporate job. You know, a job to pay a bill. Just pay a bill.
And even when you think we're vulnerable, 9 times out of 10 we got it under control. Because a lot of times what women will do is they'll try to step in and play that help role when they're becoming accustomed to the role.
Mm-hmm.
Once they're already seasoned, they know about it, and they'll overstep their boundaries. And that's like what I said, women. Don't insult your man's manhood. That's not necessarily telling him he's not a man. There are subtle things you can do to a man that insults his manhood. When you give a man an order, like you're his boss or something, and you expect him to do it, or if it's something like really simple and he says, hey, don't do that, and then you do it anyway, it's kind of just like, that's insulting your manhood, even though you're not saying, hey, you're less of a man directly. So that's all I'm saying. 100, don't always think we're faltering and go try to help out. Just kind of like sit back. Hey, babe, is there anything you need me to do? Because it's been a lot of situations where the perception is that everything's faltering. Actions will be taken by my other partner, or my female partner,
mm-hmm.
and without me knowing, just her trying to help out, and then it's like, dude, you literally just backtracked, or we wasted because, you know what I mean, you tried to do a little extra. So, if you have a dominant man in your life, women, just let him handle it. Like, it's okay. Like, don't listen to no dude telling you lazy because your man makes you feel like you're protected and safe. He's not any less of a man than a man who would expect you to keep yourself protected and safe. So that's my take on it. You want to wrap? You got anything in closing?
I'm good. Because I tell them the same thing. What my father told me, what I did to get that woman, I had to do to keep that woman.
You already know it.